Good day everyone. Today I will be discussing critical situation in BPO engagements, also known as CRITSITs. In BPO operations, performance volatility is inevitable. However, when issues are left unresolved, they can escalate into serious risks affecting service delivery, client trust, and financial performance. This presentation focuses on when a situation becomes critical, when to formally declare a crit and how to effectively manage and recover from it using structure method. So, before we start, I like to introduce myself. Info 3 SMP1, BSIT student at Laguna State Polytechnic University, enjoys learning new technologies and problem solving, professional, detail-oriented, and highly motivated to improve skills. Recap. For our recap, the last presenter talked about situation to which focus on critical disruption in BPO operation caused by a Metro Manila blackout and high employee absenteeism. The discussion highlighted how the power outage worsened by non-functioning generator resulted in operational downtime in SLA misses along call queues and delays that impacted other delivery centers. It also covered how widespread illness led to high absenteeism, further affecting response times and turnaround times. To address these challenges, the BPO implemented emergency measures such as redistributing work to other global centers, requiring overtime, and enabling work-from-home arrangement. This situation emphasized the importance of having a strong disaster recovery and business continuity plan in place. Topic outline. Disaster recovery plan, business continuity plan to minimize risk in the future. Entering into the critical situation in BPO engagement. Critical situation management method. Disaster recovery plan, business continuity plan. To minimize risk in the future, BPO organization must have strong disaster recovery and business continuity strategies in place. Reviewing workforce planning to ensure sufficient FTE allocation during periods of high absenteeism, multi-skilling agents so they can be transferred across programs when needed, and developing employee health programs to promote wellness and reduce illness-related absences. This action helps stabilize operation before problems escalate into critical solutions. So, first call resolution. Let's look at an example. In first call resolution, which is key service level metric, has a target of 85% and is consistently missed for 3 consecutive months. Management must ask critical question. Is this still a normal operational issue or is time to declare quit? At this point, sustain SLA failure signal systemic issues rather than isolated incidents, and leadership should seriously consider entering critical situation. So, for the next slide is entering into critical situation in BPO engagement. Entering a crisis means the organization is on the verge of crisis of corrective action is not taken immediately. A crisis is not a routine operational review. It must only be declared once a clearly defined set of criteria has been met and approved by senior management. Typically, a crisis is declared due to continued non-achievement of SLA, clear or implied client dissatisfaction, and penalties incurred for repeated SLA misses. So the next slide is critical situation management method. To effectively manage CRISIT, a simple yet structured management method is use clear ownership, data-driven analysis, strong governance, and control execution. The method consists of 6 phases: prepare, assess, develop recovery plan, gain commitment, execute the plan, and close recovery. So this is the critical situations team structure. So this team structure, here's we identify a crit leader, ideally a certified project manager or a 6S black belt who will drive recovery effort. The CRISIT team is assembled, stakeholders and governance boards are identified, and all administrative requirements such as meeting schedule are finalized. A dedicated war room is also established. This becomes the central hub for coordination, communication, and decision making throughout the CRISIT. So the next slide is critical situation management method assess. Improvement glide paths are developed for key metrics, and clear entry and exit criteria are defined and communicated. The team conducts an in-depth analysis using historical performance data. Root cause analysis tools such as fishbone diagram, Y analysis, or 8D problem-solving techniques are used to identify the real drivers of the issue, not just the symptoms. Next slide is develop recovery plan. The team brainstorms solution and creates detailed action plans with clearly assigned owners and timelines aligned to the target exit date from the CRISIT. Executive status updates and regular core team reviews are established to ensure accountability and momentum. So the next slide is gain commitment. In this phase, client buys in is abstained, especially if the client is already aware of the CRISIT. All stakeholders must be formally sign up on the overall recovery plan, assigned roles and timelines, resource requirements, and associated costs. These alignments ensure there are no execution barriers later on. So the next slide is execute the plan. Depending on risks and scope, the recovery plan may be piloted or fully implemented. Frequent checkpoints and toll gates are conducted to track progress against the glide path. Process the changes and document and standardize and reinforce, while regular stakeholder and client feedback sessions ensure transparency and trust. So for the next slide is close the recovery. Once performance stabilizes, the CRISIT enters to the recovery phase. Improved metrics are presented to stakeholders and clients, and formal approval is obtained to exit the CRISIT and return business as usual operations. As lesson learned, review is conducted and preventive actions are defined to ensure the same issue does not recur. And finally, this success should be celebrated with the team. So for the next slide is the conclusion, the last slide. So to conclude, critical situation in BPO engagement are not failures, they are signals that structure intervention is required. Declaring a CRISIT at the right time allows organization to contain risk early, restore SLA performance, revive client confidence, and strengthen operational resilience. By following disciplined crisis management method, prepare, assess, recover, execute, and close BPO organization can turn potential crises into opportunities for improvements. Ultimately, the goal is not recovery, but prevention, ensuring strong processes, better planning, and more resilient delivery organization moving forward. So that's all. Thank you. Nice. Ayoko na.